Earlier this year, I did a full review of the Call of Duty Modern Warfare Captain Price figure by the McFarlane company. And you can find that video right up here in the little tag if you want to go back and watch it. You don't have to. That video gained well over 1,000 views. That really blew me away because this is a smaller channel and I was not expecting that kind of viewership from what I deemed as kind of a random one-off figure that I'd be reviewing, because I didn't really care for these two and I just wanted Captain Price. At the time of that review, this is the box art that we were seeing on the back of the package. And this mystery figure was a mystery, for lack of a better word. And I hadn't seen any kind of promotional or release information about what it might be. I kind of speculated that it was going to be one of the operators from the initial release of the game. There was a character on the opposition side that had like a longer cape, and I figured, oh, that's going to be that guy. Well, lo and behold, Season 2 just released of the Battle Pass, and we found out that Ghost was included. Simon Ghost Riley was included in that line. And today we are taking a look at the official McFarlane action figure of that character. Greetings and welcome back to the channel. It is Rustabout Collector here, and today I'm very, very happy to be reviewing the 6-inch Todd McFarlane Call of Duty Modern Warfare Ghost action figure. This is awesome. Before we get into it, really quick background. I had no idea that this figure had even released. I just knew that there was the mystery figure on the back of the box like I showed before, and I didn't know anything about it. Toy Fair came and went and I didn't see any release. So I went on my Instagram, I posted a story saying, hey, does anybody know what the mystery figure is? And lo and behold, a user, AJ_transparency, one of the guys I chat with on there, he's like, yeah, dude, that's been released for a while now. He sent me pictures of it. I immediately went to eBay and I found one seller selling this figure, brand new, one seller. I'll provide a link down in the description. He had, I think, about 30 at the time of me buying this. He was listing them at about retail price, so I picked one up. If you want to pick one up, I will link it down in the description, and there you go. Jumping right into the box, this is basically the same box that we saw with Captain Price. You've just got the name, the character kind of artwork on the side there with his name again, a more close-up image here on the side of Ghost, and then on the back we have the updated picture art here showcasing that it is indeed Ghost. That would be the mystery character. And you know, honestly, I'd love to see them release a Series 2 of this line very soon. I'd love to see an updated soap figure with like the better articulation that they gave these characters, and just all the good characters from like Modern Warfare 1, 2, and 3 would be exceptional in this line. I really hope that they follow through with it, and even some of the characters from this new Modern Warfare. But anyways, that's the box. It's nothing too spectacular, but it is a nice box, similar to like a Star Wars Black Series box. Included also is this exclusive in-game content code. This is just the piece of paper that it comes on, and it doesn't say what that in-game piece of content is on the box. With the previous 3 figures in this line, it was just like a double XP for playing Modern Warfare, which was the same that they'd done with all the previous figures even before that. Just whatever the most recent game is, they'd give you double XP in it. But this actually unlocked a charm for your weapons in Call of Duty. I'll post a picture here. This is at least what I got with the code, and I'm just wondering if anybody got something different. Is it a randomizer? I don't know, but this is what I got. It's a pretty cool little plastic soldier charm. I dig it, and I'll probably put it on one of my weapons. So now with all that more boring stuff out of the way, let's talk about the figure itself, because let's be honest, that's why we're all here. This figure features all of the new updated joint work that they gave to the Price figure. Double jointed knees, double jointed elbows, better neck articulation, a torso swivel in here somewhere, and just all that really nice sculpting to go on top of it that will give you a very realistic action figure. I'm very pleased with how McFarlane has been doing with these Call of Duty figures. They've been hit or miss in the past with some of their different lines, but I think they're doing good with these new releases from like the Modern Warfare series. The figure does include a nice Call of Duty stand with a more of a matte finish or like a satin finish, so it's kind of nice. It's not as glossy as the previous ones. As a weapon, he includes this, which is a nice detailed weapon. I'm not the best at naming all the different ones from the game, even though I play it enough. It's got a red dot scope, a laser, a suppressor, a foregrip, some sort of modified stock, and it's really nicely detailed. Really good sculpt, and it's got some dry brushing over it just to really pop out all the details and give it that nice realistic look. I'm really glad that they did not just include Captain Price's weapon. They didn't just, reissue that. They made a completely unique sculpt and design for Ghost, and I really appreciate that. This kind of reminds me of his Modern Warfare 2 SOP mod M4 that he used in almost every mission, so that's kind of a nice callback as well. Now looking at the figure himself, he's got some really nice sculpt detail going on here with the mask, these headphones coming over with the mic there. Here's a really nice close-up of that Ghost head that they did. There are little eyes kind of gleaming back inside there on the insets, but you can only see them when you look in the right spot. But overall, it's a really nice sculpt. I mean, just look at the detail on that. And the paint apps are perfect with the white stripe running up to the top of the head and over the mask that he's wearing beneath the skull. I really wonder if that's supposed to be a real skull or not. It's difficult to say. Even in game, it's difficult to say. I hope they explain that. He does have a rubbery, soft plastic cloak going over his shoulders, just like in game. Although maybe a little bit shorter than in game. I feel like in the game it's down here into his middle thigh region. Here it's a little bit shorter, and I actually prefer that version of the cape better. His chest rig is made out of the same rubbery plastic, which goes all the way to the back here where it crosses. So technically, I think you could probably remove this just by stretching it over his head. That would open up some possibility for customs or, modifying this to make it a little bit more game accurate, whatever you feel like doing with it, really. One inaccuracy of this figure, unfortunately, is that he does not have the tattoos. I don't remember if it's left or right, but one of his arms, he's supposed to have a sleeve of tattoos, and unfortunately they did not include that detail. I would have really loved to see all those tattoos included as a print on one of these arms, but maybe some customizer someday will make a decal for that. I don't know, I kind of doubt that, but you can always dream. Quick insert here, this is kind of being filmed after the fact, and I'm kind of just going to fit it in wherever it fits best. But I did find that you can remove this rubber cape, and this is the sculpt that is hidden underneath that. I think with a little bit of work you could probably also remove this harness rig, but I just left it for now. But regardless, there's some really nice sculpting detail that gets hidden beneath it. You've got the collared shirt that's a little rough and tumble around the edges, and it's a really nice sculpt overall that's being hidden beneath the cape. So if you felt like it, you could easily remove it just pulling it over the head, and it would end up being a completely different Ghost figure, basically. As for articulation, you have a ball-jointed head, which is also double-jointed at the neck. You get a decent amount of forward and upwards, a little bit of side to side, not much, and then of course you have a left to right, but unfortunately he has a very high collar back here, which impedes a lot of that movement. It's kind of a weird choice with the sculpt, but it is what it is. He then also has butterfly joints at the shoulders, which allows for a lot of forward motion as well as a little bit of a rock forward and back. A swivel at the shoulder as well as a swivel at the bicep, which is kind of tricky to get to work, but there you go. And then of course he has double jointed elbows, which brings it up to there. And then he has a hinge and a swivel at the wrist, which gives you plenty of articulation there for holding weapons and getting really nice lifelike poses. A couple things to note with the articulation. The joints are very stiff out of the box, so be very careful breaking them in initially. It probably could break, and I know that that's something that McFarlane figures are known for in the past. Keep that in mind. The other thing too is the skin tone here feels like a very kind of chunky paint. So with use, it may chip off, I don't know. In fact, I just saw some chip off right there on the wrist here as I swiveled it. So that will happen, it appears. But the arm is cast in a skin tone color, so even if the paint does come off, it's not going to be ugly and like a green or a gray or something like that. Moving back with the articulation, he does have a bit of a swivel here at the chest. The articulation is a little bit limited, both by the sculpt and some of the equipment that he has on here. Especially on the back, he has this big pouch going on here that impedes the movement back. You still get the side to side, but it just really does not want to move past that. Onto the hips, it reuses the same type of hip that Captain Price used, where it kind of tucks under for the forward. Doesn't really have a lot of backwards, which is okay, and then is double jointed at the knee to allow for a full bend all the way up to there. There's a really nice flat texture here on the shin. I'm really not sure how they got that, but it's got a really interesting texture and it's just nice overall. That's one thing you can always count on with these McFarlane figures is the sculpting is just phenomenal. It's always just their implementation of articulation and paint apps that can be a little bit iffy. For the ankles, you have a hinge and swivel again, and then a little hinge here at the toe just to give you a little bit more posability there, and probably stability too. If you're getting any kind of action poses with these figures, you may actually be able to utilize that little toe joint to kind of balance him out just a little bit more. So with all those articulation points, you can really get him into some slick action poses like this. He can hold the weapon with both hands, he can look down the sights pretty well, and you can get his legs into a decent action pose, which is pretty nice for like the toy photography and stuff that I've been doing. I still need to do one with the Captain Price figures, so maybe having the Ghost figure and Captain Price will motivate me to get around to doing that. And now for a quick comparison, you have Ghost here, and this is him next to Captain Price. If I can get them to stand up, it's a little tricky with my backdrop, but I think I can get that to work. So as you can see here, Ghost is a little bit taller than Captain Price. I don't know if that's like technically canon or anything, but it is nice that there's height variation, since a lot of 6-inch line figures can just be like uniform across the top. They're just all 6 inches and there's no variation. I do like this, but I don't know if it necessarily is canon or anything like that. And here he is with a Series 1 Soap McTavish. Again, even shorter still, but still could work on a shelf. You know, if you put him maybe in the back, you have these guys up front. There's ways that you could work around it, but again, I do hope they re-release the Series 1 McTavish in this upgraded articulation and with the better detail, sculpting, paint apps, all that good stuff. I'd love to see an updated version of this. And then finally, we'll just move Captain Price over. Here he is with a Marvel Legends Killmonger figure. Some people like to cross over their lines with different military characters, and so I figured this would be a decent comparison. You can see here they're actually about the same height, which is nice. Marvel Legends is, I think, a true 6-inch scale line, so that's just something to keep in mind if you wanted to maybe mix and match a little bit. I think that they actually do work pretty well together. One small thing to note before I wrap up this video, it was a pain to get these McFarlane figures to stand up without using the included bases. I can understand why they included bases, because these guys would not stand on a shelf very well on their own. So that's just another thing to keep in mind for like the photography aspect that I'm going to be using these guys for. It might be a pain in the butt to actually try and get them to stand up without the stand, but I will do what I can, and you know, if you guys follow my Instagram, you'll be able to see any shots that I take and post them up there. So that about wraps this review up, guys. I do appreciate you watching. If you liked this video and found it enjoyable or helpful or anything like that, I'd appreciate it if you would give it a like and hit that subscribe button, because I will be releasing more in the future. And be sure to leave a comment down below what you think of this line so far. I mean, are you guys happy with the upgrade from Series 1 to Series 2? I'd have to say I personally am. The only downside that I've noticed is that these characters get really scrawny wrists, and the exposed joints here are a bit ugly. I do like how on Ghost they use the sculpting of the gloves to kind of hide that a bit more. So hopefully they'll just continue to improve and improve and improve, making the small detail changes that will make these figures probably the best 6-inch military figures we've had in recent history. But that wraps it up, guys. If there's any questions that I didn't answer in this video, feel free to leave a comment down below. I make sure to respond very quickly to those, so I'll get to all those. If you guys have anything else, if you need any more comparisons or anything like that, I'll be sure to do that for you. As I said before, link down in the description to my social media. Like, share, comment, subscribe, whatever, all that good stuff. But as always, thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next video.